We'll wait a few minutes till everybody gets in here. We'll wait a few minutes till everybody gets in here. Text Cutter here real quick.
Lonely is the only type, parachute me, I'm coming back down. God dang, everybody coming at my throat now. I'm about to sell all my real estate. Who need a $3 million house? Who need a whole damn car collection? It goes back to 1948. I'ma buy a trailer park and put Earnhardt flags in every single window pane. Like hey, my life is like a zombie land would be. Strapped up like Call of Duty in the future, blasting plasma beam. My Chevy from a galaxy, nobody's human I can see. And I get pulled over by UFOs, moon rocks in the sea. 100 years from now, I'll be cruising in the clouds, 1,000 angels in the crowd. But for right now, I'm on a lonely rock, hiding in a lonely spot. Lonely is the only top.
What's up, Cutter?
Me, I'm coming back down. Coming back down. Coming back down. Lonely is the only top.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to give you that little blue thing. I'll figure it out. Hold on.
I can see the top. Ain't walked into that party yet, cause I'm from a distance, only here to watch. I'm a dark magician to the mental blocks. Everywhere is my mental spot. Xfinity with it, my thought process got its own.
Let's see if I can move this out here a little bit. We'll see.
Y'all cyberspace, not codependent on a record label. I beat the game, they know I did. Check these missed call from these millionaires. Atlantic probably looking like they found Atlantis. Hand steady like a human praying. Man, it's Fortnite, your whole hilltop. Take the fucking
Alright,
back to
Cutter.
my
So,
golden path.
look, hold up, Cutter. If you want to refresh the stream, alright, you should be able to have the moderator abilities. So, just let you know. But,
the top is no place for me, oh. I seen it through a scope and they don't know. Yeah, the bottom's where the party's at, where I can roll up super.
I'm gonna hold on about 5-10 minutes, see if anybody else shows up other than Cutter. Hell yeah, Cutter, your name looks good in blue, fucking. Alright. I'm gonna hold on for a few minutes. Fucking love that song, man. So, alright. Now, we're gonna go ahead and get started with you, Cutter. So, what's up, guys? We are on live stream right now. So, not gonna be using full screen, but I just because I gotta look at chat. But we're just gonna be covering the Kyle Rittenhouse stream tonight, and we are going to be giving my little personal opinions on it and having a good time. So, we all know what happened with the Kyle Rittenhouse case. We've seen it on the news day in and day out and day in and day out. And I really wish it would just hurry up and come to an end, because I'm almost certain what's going to happen is he's just going to get off scot-free, and that's the way he ought to be. But because if he doesn't, that's going to really set a precedent for future law cases. So, I don't know, man. But the first video we've got is Judge Schroeder, who is his, what's the word? Presiding judge. Judge Schroeder is reaming out the local DA because he was questioning Kyle's post-arrest silence. Now, if you don't know, you can't do that. You can't do that. I'm a law enforcement major. I don't want to fucking hear it. Can't do that. You also cannot bring someone's previous criminal history into consideration, I don't think, in the court. Okay? So, we're going to get into this, and I'm going to shut up.
You indicated that at no time did this gun, this AR-15, ever leave the state of Wisconsin. Is that right?
Other than the night after, other than that.
Before the shootings.
Correct.
There was a time, though, where you wanted to have it with you down in Illinois, isn't it? It wasn't there?
I believe there was a time when me and Dominic were mad at each other. Yeah.
You were mad at Dominic?
Me and Dominic were mad over something.
And you wanted to have the gun with you down there?
I think I said something along those lines.
You'd agree with me that... Let me back up for a second here. You have testified to this jury that you used deadly force against Joseph Rosenbaum, Anthony Huber, the man who attempted to kick you in the face, and Gage Grosskreutz.
Yes, we all know this, fuckface.
Yes. And you did that because you felt that your life was in danger from those four people, correct?
Yes.
And you are telling this jury that it was, in your mind, justified to use deadly force to protect your own life, correct?
Yes.
You'd agree with me that you were not allowed to use deadly force to protect that CarSource building, correct?
Well, I wasn't using deadly force to protect the property. I used deadly force to protect myself. So.
If y'all don't know, guys, I'm going to just leave the chat where it's at. I'm sorry, Cutter. I mean, every time I hit a button, it just wants to go down. So, but, I'll bring it back up in a minute. But, anyway, you cannot use deadly force to protect property. Okay? You can't do it. If somebody is taking a baseball bat to your windshield on your car and sitting there giggling and looking at you while you're doing it, you cannot use force. Why, I don't know, but if it's not an immediate threat to your life, you cannot use deadly force. So, I don't know why that is. Don't agree with it in all instances, but hey, I didn't make the law book, so there you go. I am going to go full screen.
Please listen to my question and answer my question if you can. You'd agree with me that you were not allowed to use deadly force to protect that CarSource building, correct?
Yes.
You'd agree with me that you were not allowed to use deadly force to stop someone from smashing the windows of an unoccupied parked car, correct?
I don't think you could use deadly force for that.
You'd agree with me that you can't use deadly force to stop someone from lighting a metal dumpster on fire, correct?
Correct.
You'd agree with me that you can't use deadly force to stop someone from tipping over.
Correct.
You'd agree you can't use deadly force to stop someone from lighting a flatbed trailer on fire, correct?
Correct.
You'd agree with me that you can't use deadly force to stop someone who is about to start an unoccupied car on fire, correct?
Correct.
You'd agree with me that you can't use deadly force to stop someone from lighting some traffic cones in the middle of the street on fire, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
So you understand that there's a difference between using deadly force to protect yourself and using it to protect property, correct?
Yes.
And you'd agree with me that you're not allowed to use deadly force to protect property, correct?
Yes.
But yet you have previously indicated that you wished you had your AR-15 to protect someone's property, correct?
This is irrelevant.
I'm going to ask you to go into the library again for a moment.
Oh boy, this is
We'll
going
talk
to
about
be
the
good.
case.
Okay.
Either forgetting court's rulings or attempting to provoke a mistrial in this matter. He knows he can't go into this, and he's asking the questions. I asked the court to strongly admonish him, and the next time it happens, I'll be asking for a mistrial with prejudice. He's an
Mr. Finger?
I think the stream might be cutting out on me
Your
a little
Honor,
bit.
this was the subject of a motion. I'm well aware of that. And the court left the door open. This-
For me, not for you.
my understanding of
You
your...
should have come and asked for reconsideration. You did on the one motion, and in fact, I granted your motion for reconsideration.
That was not our motion.
Excuse me. I did.
Bro, don't disagree with the judge. I'll just go ahead and tell you. You disagree with the judge, you're just asking for trouble. So, I'm just being honest. you don't want to do that. Because, man, these kinds of things you have to be really careful about. And if you're not, this shit happens. And honestly, I personally think that this dude's a fuckface. He's a piece of shit. He's trying to get him in trouble for something because he knows he doesn't have enough evidence to prosecute him with anything. And we'll get farther into how stupid this dude is later, because I've got a couple different videos pulled up out through here. But this dude's a shithead. Not to mention he just has the kind of face that you just want to take a baseball bat to. But you know, this is what makes attorneys look bad. Is shit like this. You're supposed to have a very neutral view. Okay, if he's guilty, I'm good with it. If he's not guilty, I'm good with it. Okay? I want the truth to prevail. That's the mindset of what a lawyer should have. And it pisses me off that this dude exists. It pisses me off that he's taken up good space for a good human being to be around. But we'll get into that. Ben Shapiro, I've got a couple different videos by him, and yeah, I think the stupidest one we're gonna do next, just because. But anyway, off with your fucking head, Binger. I swear. You look like a Down syndrome version of Tombstone's Doc Holliday with glasses. Alright, we're gonna get going.
We did not move
That
to
was
reconsider.
their motion.
We have not filed any
Forgive me.
motions to reconsider in this
Forgive me.
case.
That was their motion for reconsideration, which I did not. But I said I denied it, or I indicated a bias towards denial is what I did. Held it open with a bias towards denial. Why would you think that made it okay for you, without any advance notice, to bring this matter before the jury. I was astonished when you began your examination by commenting on the defendant's post-arrest silence. That's basic law. It's been basic law in this country for 40 years, 50 years.
Get him!
I have no
Get
idea
him!
why you would do something like that. And it gives, I'll leave it at that. So I don't know what you're up to.
May I respond?
See, this judge is being very reserved. He knows he has to stay professional, because if he doesn't do it on this bench, he could get fired. But this judge is holding back some choice words, I can tell, because he's doing the same thing I do when I'm in a situation where I can't really, say what I want, like when I'm at work or something. But, bro, this dude's a piece of shit.
Yes.
We filed an other acts motion on this exact issue because, in my mind, and I argued this, it is identical to what was going on the night of August 25th, in the sense that
Your
the defendant
opinion
was
does
using
not
this
matter.
Exact same weapon. He was using it in a manner to try and protect property.
No, he wasn't.
Your Honor,
Where
with
you
all
get-
due respect,
I'm not going to rehash the motion. Yeah, that's absolutely untrue.
It
And
is-
there's no. Your arguments of record, my comments are of record, and why I ruled
Yo,
as I
Cutter,
did
for real.
is of record. There's nothing that I heard in this trial to suggest that anything's changed. Even if you're correct in your assumption that you know more than I did at the time, you should have come to the court and say, I want to go into this. Why you would think that you could go into it without any advance notice to the court, I don't understand that. And as the defense is pointing out, you're an experienced trial lawyer, and this should not have been gone into.
Your Honor, there have been things in this case, testimony in this case, that I believe opens the door to this. For example, the defense has introduced evidence that the defendant pointed a gun at a man wearing yellow pants because that person was on a car, on the car source lot. Now, there's no justification that I can think of.
You see
why the
you see
defendant
this
would point
guy's
that
reaction
gun at
right here?
The
He's
defendant
shaking
has
his head
just
because he knows
testified
he's
this
full of
morning
shit.
That he agreed with that person in the yellow pants, that he pointed the gun at him. He said, I was joking when I said that to the guy in the yellow pants, but he's acknowledged that he told the person in the yellow pants, yeah, you're right. I did point a gun at you when you were sitting on a car.
He said, I did. That's what he
Exactly.
testified.
So he's agreeing. May I finish, please? I'd like to have a chance to make a record if I could, without being interrupted, if that's okay. He has mentioned
Oh, bro,
that
bro.
he's acknowledged that he
Binger, you better tread lightly, old buddy. You better tread lightly. You do not tell that judge to be quiet. You do not do that. You don't do that. I'm telling you, dude. You're about to step in some shit and it's gonna stink. I'm telling you. You don't do that.
he's used this gun to protect property. He's also just acknowledged that he knows he can't do that. I am attempting to impeach him now with the prior August 10th incident, 15 days prior, involving the same gun, where he is threatening to use that gun to protect property. It
He
goes,
had the gun with him.
Your Honor, he is saying he wished he did so he could shoot people.
You know, there's a lot of difference between commenting about something when you haven't got a gun and threatening someone when you do.
You know, it's interesting, Your Honor, because the entire defense theory in this case is Joseph Rosenbaum, who was
I
unarmed.
want you to tell me what the defense theory of the case is. I want,
May I
look,
It does not matter whether you are armed or not. Okay? If you're coming at me with a weapon, that could be a rock, a stick, a piece of pipe, a baseball bat, whatever. Okay? If you start coming at me with that, with intent to cause bodily harm or to hurt me, bro, I fight dirty already. You don't want to know what I'd do in that situation. Use your imagination. Use your imagination, because it could go any which way. So, yeah.
I respond to what you just said, Your Honor. I'd like to respond to what you just said. I apologize, Madam Court Reporter, but I'd like to try and make a record without anyone interrupting me, if that's okay. I believe that there is a central part of this case that Mr. Rosenbaum is making threats that he has no ability to carry out. So, to your point, Your Honor, you're arguing that this
How do you
August
know
10th
he can't
incident,
carry him out?
one aspect of why you don't believe it's relevant is the defendant didn't have the gun with him. This case is about someone who didn't have a weapon, and yet the jury is being told because of those threats, that means the defendant has to defend himself. So, with all due respect, Your Honor, mere verbal threats have already been shown to this jury and used as a basis for someone's subsequent actions. I am attempting, with the defendant, to use his mere verbal threat on August 10th, 15 days prior, that he's going to shoot shoplifters with his AR-15 to impeach the defendant in a murder trial. I would ask the court's forbearance to do that. I apologize, Your Honor. You're right. I probably should have brought this to your attention earlier. I may have misunderstood your ruling because I made that more relevant. You would admit it, or at least consider it an admittance. I believe, based on the evidence that we've heard, and more specifically, exactly what the defendant said earlier about admitting pointing a gun at someone who was merely jumping or sitting on a car.
Merely?
The door is open now to this testimony. And I continue to believe that his state of mind, his intent, his belief as to self-defense is the core of this case. That was the basis for my motion. You were strongly inclined against it. I understand that. But now we're in the middle of trial, and there's been a lot of evidence that's come in that I think makes this relevant. So I'm attempting to impeach the defendant on his beliefs. I believe I'm entitled to impeach the defendant on his beliefs and on his statements.
I'm going to interrupt you now because you're talking about his beliefs. I think...
Okay, hold on. I'm going to read chat here for a minute. The men behind him are so sick of this shit, yell for real. If I was that one dude, bro, I'd be wanting to choke him out so hard. Hey, you can tell that that other guy that's the actual main attorney is literally thinking of 60 ways to murder him on the way outside of the courthouse. Probably not literally, but you get what I mean. What, buddy? Here, hold on, guys. Let's see what Blackhawk has to say. Oh, really? You think the same thing? Yeah. Me too, man. Yeah. I think he's a dumbass, too. Yeah, man. I mean... Do you want to go help me take care of this dude? That's a joke, guys. That's a joke. Don't take that the wrong way. That's a joke. I just thought that'd be funny. But anyway. Yo. Blackhawk thinks he's an idiot, too. But, man, this man makes me want to start a shotgun. Like, for real.
That's what they call...
His statements do, Your Honor. Because he just said, can't use deadly force, can't threaten to use deadly force to protect property. So now I'm impeaching him on that.
Your Honor, the court has seen no reason to change its ruling. And just so this record is clear, in spite of the lengthy statement by Mr. Binger, before we started today, the court specifically stated in Mr. Binger's presence, there's been nothing to have me change any of my rulings. There have been numerous occasions during this trial where they've opened the door. The one time when they're going into Mr. Rosenbaum's prior reason he doesn't like guns, and I said something, I whispered in Mr. Krause's ear, it's because of the prior convictions. Please stop, and he did. He knows if you're going to go into something that's been excluded in a pretrial order, you better ask the court, you better get permission. This is ridiculous.
When all else fails, ask the judge for
You know why it was
permission.
excluded in the first place? Because it was propensity evidence. That is exactly what 90404 is designed to prevent. You're talking about his attitude. His attitude is he wants to shoot people. Now, I've admitted that kind of evidence in other trials when it's been appropriate. I didn't admit it in this case because, to me, what I've heard in this trial, and by the way, Mr. Richards absolutely correctly points out that just hours ago, I said I had heard nothing in this trial to change any of my ruling. So why?
Testimony, Your Honor.
Pardon me?
That was before the
Don't
defense testimony.
get brazen with me. You knew very well. You know very well that an attorney can't go into these types of areas when the judge has already ruled without asking outside the presence of the jury to do so. So don't give me that. That's number one. Number two, this is propensity evidence. I said at the time that I made my ruling, and I'll repeat again now for you. I see no similarity between talking about wishing you had your AR gun, which you don't have, so that you could fire rounds at these thought to be shoplifters.
What I would like to do and what
the
I would do is
incidents
two
in these
different
cases,
things.
which are not. There's nothing in your case that suggests the defendant was lying in wait to shoot at somebody, or reflecting upon the shooting for a vast amount of time.
Guys, it's not like that he was sitting 1,000 yards away with a 50 BMG sitting there going, oh, there's one of the rioters. There's another one. There's another one. I mean, y'all act like that he was sitting on top of a building like 2 miles out, sitting there just taking people out. No, he had a med bag with him to help people. So what he came up there for was to provide medical assist, bro. Oh, I'm getting mad. Oh, I'm getting mad. I'm getting a headache. I want a cigarette. Oh. This guy disgusts me. His mere existence makes me want to puke. Oh, God.
Every one of the incidents involves matters that involve seconds in time. So I commented at the time, I don't see the similarity, and I don't see the similarity now. If it's not similar, that's the whole rule. Those are all the exceptions to 90404. Check the authorities. Wigmore and evidence. Judge Weinstein. Colonel McCormick. It's the prior act has to bear the signature of the accused, or it has to be so similar as to suggest it's a common plan or something like that. You have an incident where he's making comments about some alleged shoplifters versus crimes that involve instantaneous actions, whether premeditated murder or whether self-defense, that's for the jury to decide. But I don't see the similarity. I said it couldn't come in, and it isn't coming in, no matter what you think. Number two, I have to be concerned that with what Mr. Richards has said about the progress of the trial, and when you were I said you were over the line, close to or over the line on commenting on the defendant's pretrial silence, which is a well-known rule. I'm astonished that would have been an issue. So I don't want to have another issue as long as this case continues. Is that clear?
It is.
Thank you. Ask the jury to come back into this.
Ugh. Okay, that's all we got for this one. So you can very clearly see that this gentleman is not very, I don't know. No, I don't know. Cutter, I'm gonna ask your opinion. Do you think we ought to react to this one? I'll give you a couple minutes. It's Ben Shapiro breaks down the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. What do you think? Because if it's just him going into the trial, we already know what's going on. So I don't know. I want to ask your opinion. So I'll give you a couple minutes. Where's my cigarettes? Oh shit, I can't smoke in here anyway. Final confirmation. Cutter says yes, we're going. Alright. Alright, let go.
Why don't we begin with the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, which is finally open. This, of course, is the trial of the 17-year-old, at least he was 17-year-old at the time, young man who was in Kenosha, Wisconsin. He was there to help with medical care for people on the ground and also to prevent rioters from burning down businesses and burning cars and such. And the entire situation ended with 3 people shot and 2 people dead. Kyle Rittenhouse has been charged now for murder. There's one problem. There's no case against Kyle Rittenhouse. I mean, there really is no case at all against Kyle Rittenhouse.
Nate D, what's up,
sort
bro?
of minor gun charge. That one is a little more controversial, but the murder case it never existed. And the fact that this was ever brought to trial just demonstrates how political our judicial system sometimes is.
Hell yeah,
it demonstrates that if a prosecutor gets it in their head that they must prosecute somebody regardless of the facts on the ground, they will do so even when the case just simply does not exist. And we know that the case against Rittenhouse doesn't exist because the prosecution yesterday brought forth a bunch of witnesses, and they all promptly testified to Rittenhouse's self-defense case. And so Rittenhouse's argument is that he shot the people who were threatening him in self-defense. And the prosecution really, really struggled because
we
it turns
already
out
know this.
that we knew from the very first day, right? As soon as the video footage emerged, we knew exactly what was going on in the Rittenhouse case, and it was that he had shot people in self-defense. So, for example, this entire incident, the timeline of the Kyle Rittenhouse incident, started when Rittenhouse essentially was chased down the street by some people who were threatening him. And a gunshot was fired in the air. He turned around, and there was a guy who was lunging for him, and so he shot the guy. Here's video. This is courtesy of ABC News. This is video from that night. This is the first shooting.
A man who police identified as Rittenhouse runs across the parking lot of an auto service shop, followed by a shirtless man who was later identified as Joseph Rosenbaum. Moments later, shots ring out.
Okay, now, you can stop it right there. You heard a shot before the narrator says, moments later, shots ring out.
John Andrews, what's up, man?
That first shot was actually not Rittenhouse. That was somebody who was chasing him,
Sorry,
firing a
it took
shot
me a
into
minute
the
to
air.
see you.
Rittenhouse is running away, has no idea where the shot's coming from. Then it turns out that Rosenbaum, who it also turns out was a career criminal, is chasing him down and is lunging for his gun. Okay, so that is shooting number 1. Okay, so now we move on to shooting number 2. Rittenhouse is now being chased down the street by a bunch of ne'er-do-wells, and they physically assault him. And one person comes at him with a gun, he shoots that guy in the arm. Another person tries to hit him in the face with a skateboard, he shoots him and kills him. Right, here's that video. Again, this is all on video, guys. He falls down.
You hear him?
He raises the gun.
They were saying get his ass.
He shoots the guy. And then there's a guy who approaches him. He
Bro,
has a
that
pistol in his
dude
hand, right?
dropped.
The guy approaching him has a pistol in his hand. Okay, so all of that is on video, right? Uncontroverted. It's on video. Pretty clearly and obviously a case of self-defense. The prosecution is trying to argue that Rittenhouse started the fight. That Rittenhouse essentially insulted a guy or tried to initiate conflict with Rosenbaum, who was originally chasing him. And the big problem is that it's pretty clear that's not what happened. And there's FBI infrared video. So it turns out the FBI has eyes on nearly everything happening in the United States, apparently. We never saw this video until now. And you can see from the video exactly how this went down. So you have person of interest 1 and person of interest 2. Okay, and you see that they're having some sort of conversation between the cars. And then person of interest 2 starts running away, being chased by person of interest 1. So what the prosecution is attempting to claim is that person of interest 1, who is Rosenbaum, was confronted by Rittenhouse. But that's not what the testimony of the prosecution's own witnesses said. They said that it's precisely the opposite. So there's a witness named Ryan Balch, and he was called by the prosecution. This guy was not called by the defense. And Ryan Balch says in open testimony that Rosenbaum had said earlier that if he caught Rittenhouse...
Alex, thumbs down, guilty. Are you referring to Kyle, or are you referring to what are you referring to? I genuinely want to know your opinion. In Mom's basement. Yeah. Well, hey, you do with what you can get, right? Actually, this is my house, but believe what you want. But anyway. Yeah. Alright, let's continue.
House alone, you would kill him. Hey, that's not... The prosecutors called this guy. This is their case? The prosecutors? Here we go.
When I turned around, Rosenbaum was right there in front of my face, yelling and screaming. And I would say, dude, back up. Just chill. I don't know what your problem is. And he goes, you know what? If I catch any of you guys alone tonight, I'm going to kill you.
And he said that to you?
Correct.
Did he say that to the defendant as well?
The defendant was there, so yes.
That's the prosecutor's witness. Whoops. That's not good. Now, again, this is all undercut. The entire prosecution case here was undercut by all the footage from the evening up. In fact, the prosecutors tried to bar testimony and bar actual video of Rittenhouse talking before any of this happened. Because there's video from Rittenhouse earlier in the night talking about why he was there in Kenosha, Wisconsin in the first place. This does not sound like a guy who went out to shoot some people in the middle of a riot.
So people are getting injured, and our job is to protect this business, and part of my job is to also help people. If there's somebody hurt, I'm running into harm's way. That's why I have my rifle, because I can protect myself, obviously. But I also have my med kit. We're protecting from the citizens, and I just got pepper sprayed by a person in the crowd.
So you had non-lethal, but you didn't respond?
We don't have non-lethal.
So you guys are full on ready to defend the property?
Yes, we are. Now, if I can ask, can you guys step back? Medical, EMS right here. I'm an EMT.
Okay, so then the prosecution, and then he goes in this video, he's trying to help one of the rioters. Then the prosecution tries to bring a second witness. This is a guy named Richie McGinnis, who's a reporter for the Daily Caller, who you can see in the original video, who is following after Rittenhouse and Rosenbaum as they are running down the street. And after Rosenbaum is shot, you can see Richie McGinnis take off his shirt and try and provide some sort of medical care for Rosenbaum. And so the prosecutor tries to ask Richie McGinnis, so he was falling over Rosenbaum when he was shot, right? Like he tripped, and then he was wrongfully shot by Rittenhouse. And he was shot for no reason, because he was just falling over. And then Rittenhouse wanted to kill him, so he killed him. So it's not self-defense.
Hold on, I got a new chat I want to see. Who's to say other viewers are not? Who's to say other viewers are not chilling in a basement or attic watching this stream? For real, dog. For real. For real. I appreciate it. The Iron Wing Kaiser, I appreciate your view, bro. But, dude, this is retarded. So, yeah, man, this whole thing pisses me off. If you can't tell, but anyway, I'm gonna move this chat back over. here for a second. Oh, shit. What's going on here? Come on. No, you need to get out of here. You need to go full screen. There we go.
And Richie McGinnis is like, well, no, actually, let me explain.
I kind of caught up to them. I was running a bit faster, and so at the time, initially, I was probably 30 feet back when everybody first started running, but then by the time I arrived in the lot, I was 15 feet.
And you continued to be behind Mr. Rosenbaum at the time that the defendant shot and killed him, correct?
I did alter my trajectory a little bit when I saw Mr. Rittenhouse turn around and saw Mr. Rosenbaum lunging for the front portion of the rifle.
Lunging for the front portion of the rifle. And the prosecutor tries to push him and tries to say, well, was he falling over? And the witness says, no. He said, F you, and reached for the weapon. So, yeah, not great. Not great, Bob, for the prosecution. Now, the way the media are trying to portray this is as though it's just a sort of a conflict of visions. The Associated Press says jurors heard starkly different portrayals of Kyle Rittenhouse, instigator or victim, in opening statements at his trial on Tuesday on charges of shooting 3 people on the streets of Kenosha during a turbulent protest against racial injustice. A prosecutor said Rittenhouse set the bloodshed in motion when he triggered a confrontation with a man that night and then killed him with a bullet to the back. Rittenhouse's attorney told the jury his client acted in self-defense after the man tried to grab Rittenhouse's gun, and others kicked the teen in the face and clubbed him in the head with a skateboard. And one of those stories is true, and one of those stories is not, and the prosecution's story is not true, and then they called a bunch of witnesses who ripped apart their own case.
Bro, I don't care if it was a skateboard. Bro, let me see. Fuck. I can't find nothing. But dude, you come at me with a skateboard and swing that thing at me, and by chance you don't hit me with it, bro, I am taking that fucking skateboard away from you and making you chew on that fucking thing. And I will take it away from you and I will whoop your ass. I'm telling you. You don't come at me like that. Kyle is, as a matter of fact, he is a lot more forgiving than I would be. Because the first guy that he shot, okay, Joseph Rosenbaum, he tried to get down and help him and give him medical aid after he shot him. After he shot him. And if you still think that this dude is guilty, well, you're entitled to your own opinion, but still, y'all need to educate yourself before you sit here and, you know, cast judgment on somebody else just because. You're more or less doing it just to be a shithead. But let's open up chat back here for a minute. I'm going to check it while I got it paused. Nothing new, so.
This thing never should have been in front of a jury. Given the fact that the prosecution case is just a complete crap show here, why exactly was it brought in the first place? And the answer is because we live in a society where the media will not allow a case not to be brought so long as the purported victimizer is of the wrong political persuasion. Okay, there is no way that if this were a left-wing person who had shot a couple of Proud Boys in the streets and the video were available like this, that this prosecution is ever brought. It is just too weak a case. Politics, unfortunately, is now telescoped into individual cases of justice. We're no longer a country where individual cases are seen for what they are, judged on their fact patterns, judged on their merits. Instead, the outside politics of the players are telescoped into the proceedings. And that is...
Hold on, let's open up back chat here. I think I see a few new ones. Iron Wing Kaiser, you are right, bro. I can't say you're wrong. I'm not going to say you're wrong because you're right. I'm in neither. I'm renting a room for me and my aunt and uncle. Hey, man. Whatever you got to do to make it work. You know? I think some people just want to watch this world burn. Yup. Feel that. I feel that. it's not even them having the opinion that he is guilty. It's the fact that they're so fucking stupid about it. They don't take the time to educate themselves. They don't try to find the facts of the case. They don't try to find anything out. Okay? And that's what really pisses me off, is the fact that people are so quick, like I said earlier, to cast judgment down upon somebody, but they've never been in that situation. Alright? Because me, myself, I can't help but think, what if he didn't have a gun that night? What if he didn't have that AR? I'm almost certain that a mother would have had to bury her son that day. And for him doing what he was doing and going up there and helping people, man, that's respectable. It almost renews my faith in humanity. One person, but hey, that's whatever. So, I mean, but we need more people like Kyle. I mean, like real motherfuckers that have a good heart and want to help people, and that they're so selfless, and we need more people like that, bro. We do. And man, it's just, actually, John, hold up a minute. I'm gonna get you right here. Look here. There you go. Give you that. John, if you want to refresh the stream, I gave you your blue wrench, so if you want to refresh, go ahead. But anyway, yeah, we need more people like Kyle. Somebody that ain't afraid to defend himself. But I seen something really interesting on the internet the other day. After this, I'm gonna start the video. But I seen something on the internet a little while back that just really spoke to me. And it was this. And to anybody in the chat that isn't Christian, don't think that I'm trying to push my beliefs on you. I promise I'm not. But the man said, remember how the Bible says that the meek shall inherit the earth? Well, the meek is the courageous, and the meek is the ones that carry the sword but choose not to use it. You know, and I really think there's a lot of truth to that, and that's just it really feels like that, man. So yeah, to answer y'all's questions, I honestly do think that some people want to see this world burn. So, but yeah, let's get back into it. Finish her out.
Exactly the wrong way to do this, right? Due process of law requires precisely the opposite. We saw this a lot with the Derek Chauvin trial in Minnesota. Regardless of what you think of Derek Chauvin's activities that day, and now the man has been convicted of murder, and regardless of what you think of the activities, there is still no evidence in the Derek Chauvin case that anything he did was motivated by racism. It didn't matter. It turned into a giant national referendum on whether police across the country were racist, despite the fact there was no evidence that Chauvin himself was racist or had done anything racist, as opposed to just egregiously wrong in the confrontation with George Floyd. Now, everything is used as a stand-in for politics these days, and the Rittenhouse trial is just a perfect example of that. Because again, the prosecution has so little a case that they are calling witnesses who are rebutting the prosecution case. And they can't stop it. If somehow Rittenhouse is convicted here on the basis of the evidence that's being presented, you can only chalk that up to politics, because there's literally no way to watch the testimony that's being given and not see that that's a self-defense case. Who's got two thumbs and wants you to like and subscribe?
All right. Yeah, man. Like I said before, some of y'all got in the stream, guys, this is a shit show. It really, really is. it is a shit show. And I honestly feel sorry for this kid. But, as much as I'm appreciating getting to watch what's going on here, I really, really, really wish that things like this would not, for some reason, in some aspects, I really wish that things like this would not be live streamed, would not be put on TV. Just because of the fact that it divides us, okay? It just takes the wedge farther down into the log. And but on the other hand, we get to stay updated, and that's cool, but in certain cases, like, yeah, that, for some reason, sometimes I really wish they wouldn't do this kind of stuff and televise this kind of stuff. And I really do feel sorry for Kyle. I really do. But, yeah. Okay. We're going to save the conservative twins for last. And that one there is just pointless. So, we're going to get rid of that one. But, the next one I'm going to have y'all do, we're going to go back to the prosecutor. We're going to go further in on this shithead. But we're done with this one too, so I can get rid of this one. But we're going to save that one for last.
And this thing went super poor.
Alright. Now, this is where the prosecutor, for some random reason, tried to connect Call of Duty and playing first-person shooters is all of a sudden corrupting our children and doing all that jazz, so... But, man, I don't know. I seriously do not know. So, we're going to get into this one. Hold on, I'm going to check chat real quick. Hold on, let me refresh this and make sure nothing's... Oh God, help us all. For real, dog. But, yeah, I feel that. I feel that. So, anyway, yeah, let's go.
Poorly for the prosecutor, not just according to people who are sort of watching the trial, but according to the judge. So the prosecutor, I don't know how disbarment is not considered here. Seriously, the prosecutor twice essentially got called on the carpet by the judge, who was very, very pissed off, and for good reason. And the reason that the judge was pissed off is in the first instance, the lawyer attempted to make the argument during cross-examination about why he had remained silent after his arrest. So when he was arrested, he didn't talk to the police. Now, it is a well-established rule. I mean, literally going back centuries, that silence is not an admission of guilt. Okay, this goes all the way back to like the Thomas More trial. The belief that if you are silent on a particular topic, this means that you are guilty, as well as the notion that if you take the Fifth Amendment, that this is an implication of guilt in a courtroom, you're not allowed to even bring that up if you're a lawyer in a courtroom.
For real. Silence is not an admission of guilt. It says it in the Constitution. So, the fact that he would even comment on that really tells me what kind of person that guy is. Thomas Binger, the prosecutor in this case. That really shows me what kind of person he is. And not to mention, it just shows me how desperate he is to get this kid arrested and to send this kid to prison. And should they get him for murder? Absolutely not. And I'm thinking that the judge, hopefully, is seeing through the DA's bullshit. I pray to God that he is seeing through his bullshit. And it's crazy, but so anyway,
You're not allowed to. Yeah, that's like black letter again, first year law. And the judge just reams the prosecutor for attempting to do that. I mean, the prosecutor did that. He's like, you're really attempting to make the argument that Kyle Rittenhouse not talking to the cops means that he's guilty? Again, by the way, again, quick lawyer rule, guys. If you are ever arrested for a crime, call your lawyer and say nothing to the cops. If you're ever arrested for a crime, call your lawyer and say nothing to the cops. This is, again, first year basic law. And it doesn't mean you're guilty.
Hold on.
It means
Something's popping up in chat here. Let me read chat. Criticism on Rittenhouse can only go so far. We got people thinking he's a hero or a vigilante, and people who think otherwise. Yeah. Yep. Feel that. But here's what I'm wondering. Death threats sent toward the judge and his family during this trial. To comment on that, it's probably not anything, because not saying it can't happen, but I've heard of that stuff happening in most cases is people just running their mouth that can't have their ass back it up. So, and NBC getting banned for sending someone to stalk jurors. They should. They should. What is the media trying to prove? For real. For real, dog. But, man, I just don't know anymore. I really don't. And the fact that MSNBC would send somebody to stalk the jurors, that really shows me how much evidence they have against this kid. Because the prosecutor would not be going off on these little tangents that he knows he's not supposed to go on if he's not trying to dig something out. This guy is a fucking rat. But, and not to mention his voice makes my ears bleed. But even the FBI had drone footage for real. But man, this prosecutor's a piece of shit, in my opinion. Iron Wing, it's happened, but what does the media think they're getting out of this by intimidating the judge and jurors? Bro, I'm gonna just go ahead and tell you right now. If this kid got off and it was the right thing to do, because he was in self-defense and I let him off for self-defense, I would just soon be shot in the head and let this kid walk free. Did they show the footage at the trials? I don't think I caught up to that part. I am not sure, man. If I knew, I'd tell you, but I'm completely not sure. I'll have to do a little bit of research on that. But I think, well, the FBI knew this shit was going to go sideways. That's why they sent those drones over there. Or that's what I'm guessing, anyway. But yeah, as far as if I was in that judge's place, if I done what needed to be done, and the truth was actually what I ruled, and somebody wanted to come to my house and put a bullet in my head, bro, I'd be completely content. Because I'd very possibly saved a kid's life. That's just my personal opinion. So, I mean, man, if somebody wanted to shoot me over that, shoot me. I'm completely fine with it. Because you can tell this judge does not care about people's feelings. He cares about what is the truth, and he cares about what needs to be done. So, that's just one of them things, you know. So, alright, let's go.
lawyer because the police are there to do their job, and that job might involve asking questions that implicate you in crimes you didn't commit, for example. So you always want to work with your lawyer. Okay, but one thing that's not allowed to happen is in the courtroom, the opposing lawyer isn't allowed to say, because you didn't talk to the cops, this means you're guilty. That gets rid of the purpose of the Fifth Amendment in the first place.
Yes.
Here's the prosecutor just getting reamed by the judge for this one.
I was astonished when you began your examination by commenting on the defendant's post-arrest silence. That's basic law. It's been basic law in this country for 40 years, 50 years. I have no idea why you would do something like that. I said I had heard nothing in this trial to change any of my rulings. So why?
Testimony, Your Honor.
Pardon me?
That was before the defense testimony.
Don't get brazen with me. You're an experienced trial attorney, and you're telling me that when the judge says, I'm excluding this, you just to take it upon yourself to put it in because you think that you've found a way around it?
This little skit of the judge reaming out the prosecutor.
Okay. And then the judge says, I don't believe that you're acting in good faith. Okay, the second thing he's commenting on
he's not acting
is that
in good
there
faith.
Was a
he's trying to find every little fucking hole that he can find. Every little hole. Because he knows he doesn't have enough evidence to prosecute. So basically what he's trying to do is run the touchdown without the ball. That's what he's trying to do. And it's just retarded.
Piece of evidence that was ruled out pre-trial. Okay, that piece of evidence has nothing to do with the case. It comes from like a month after Kyle Rittenhouse got out on bail. So you're talking about months after the initial incident. And he was photographed in a bar with members of the Proud Boys wearing a shirt that said free as F.
Okay, don't quote me on this because I'm not an expert on Wisconsin law. But I think they mentioned this is when you're 18 in Wisconsin, I think that you can go to a bar as long as you are legally 18 and are accompanied by a parent. You can drink in a bar. Don't quote me on that, but I think I heard somebody say something like that. I'm not completely sure. So, that's not an issue up there. I really wish it wasn't an issue down here, but unfortunately, I live right in the middle of the Bible Belt, and drinking is of the devil. So, I don't know. So, but that's a completely different live stream. Anyway, let's continue.
Relevant to his state of mind on the day that he shot people. That is not relevant. Okay, that was declared out of evidence by the judge because when it comes to criminal trials, you have to weigh prejudicial evidence against the probative value of the evidence.
Yes.
What that means is that, for example, in a criminal trial, you're generally not allowed to bring up the criminal history of the person who is on trial because that does not go into the calculation as to whether the person committed this particular crime. So,
yes.
If something happens 3 months after an incident in which you're wearing a shirt that's offensive and stupid, does that have anything to do with whether you committed the particular crime that is in question 3 months earlier? The answer, of course, is no. It does not. And the judge had already ruled that out. He'd already said, I'm ruling that out. If you want to approach me later and ask about it, you can, but it's out for now. Right? I'll leave the door open to myself, but not to you. This prosecutor just started bringing up the evidence that had already essentially been ruled out in the first place. And the judge is like, you can't do that. I know what you're doing here. I mean, this prompted, by the way, the defense to ask for a mistrial without the ability of refiling. Right? A mistrial with prejudice, saying, just end the case right now. By the way, I wouldn't be surprised if this trial never goes to the jury. That's how bad this is. He says the judge just went after him. And then, according to the Associated Press, the defense asked for a mistrial over what appeared to be an out-of-bounds question asked of Rittenhouse by the chief prosecutor. The judge did not immediately rule on the request. The judge did say that the kind of activity that the prosecutor engaged in here essentially was bordering on mistrial. It was certainly grounds for an appeal if Rittenhouse were to be convicted. It's so weak. How weak was the prosecution's case? I mean, this one sums it up. How weak was the prosecution case? The prosecutor tried to link Kyle Rittenhouse and his self-defense claim with playing Call of Duty. I kid you not. This is a thing that happened in real life in a courtroom.
This is the moment where my whole chat gets triggered. I guarantee it. Because, guys, I'm gonna tell y'all what, because it's not true, and y'all are getting triggered for a good reason. I'll just go ahead and tell you, because you know what my dad done. I think the first FPS shooter game that I got was Black Ops 2. Old game, I still love it to this day. But man, you know what? You and I really think this boils back to a parenting issue, is because the parents don't care about their kids no more. They set them in front of that PlayStation, that Xbox, that TV, that tablet, that phone, whatever, and they expect that to raise them. And that's not the right way to do it, bro. Because here's what my dad done. He bought it for me, and he held it up, and he was just like, yo, we are under the understanding that this is not real life, correct? He made sure to do that, because he's a good fucking parent. And I was just like, well, at the time I was like, yeah, you know, obviously I know that, because, I mean, man, like, I've been shooting guns since I was about that tall. I don't think y'all can see it, but like, I'm pretty certain the gun weighed more than I did. So, you know. Anyway, let's check chat here real quick. Is it 16? I forgot. No, I think John, to answer your question, I think what happened was that when he turned 18, his mom or his dad took him to a bar, because I think, don't quote me on this again, I think that you are allowed to drink in Wisconsin at 18 at a bar as long as you're accompanied by a parent. So, but yeah, that again, don't quote me on Wisconsin law, because I don't live, I'm not a damn Yankee. So 16 regarding okay, I'm thinking that's John, to answer your question, I don't know the drinking age in Texas. I'm guessing it's probably 21. It shouldn't surprise anyone what FPS game you started off with, but I will say you started off with a great one. BO2 was excellent in its time. It was. It still holds up today, I think. Because, man, for some reason, the new games where they've got these ray guns and shit like that, I mean, I just don't vibe with that shit. Because Black Ops 2 has still got halfway realistic weapons in it. That's why I like it. And that's just me. I don't know. But yeah, I got my first gun when I was 10 years old. Hell yeah, bro. Your parents raised you the right way, Cutter. I think the first time I ever shot a gun, I think I was 3 or 4. Then I was shooting a 22. It ain't like my dad got me out there with a 12 gauge and like, here you go. Yep. Not that y'all would think that, but I'm just saying. Drinking age in Texas is 21. Okay, well, I appreciate you putting that in there, because I'm not going to pretend to know. Like, if you all hear me say, something like, don't quote me on this, that's me saying, I think I've heard this before, but I don't know if it's fact or not, and I do that just so somebody doesn't be like, oh my god, you're wrong, and hits me up on Instagram and DMs me. They're just like, oh my god, you're a piece of shit. You got that wrong. Ain't that right, Blackhawk? Yeah, you're right, bro. Anyway, so, yeah, that's like, I'll give you an example. That's like saying that playing with these when we were little, you all remember these, right? The little little GI Joes and stuff like this. This is the only one close to me that I've got. I've got a GI Joe. I don't know where it's at, but playing with this stuff promotes violence because it's got guns on it and it's got missiles on it. I mean that's their mindset, bro. Oh, by the way, do you still think this guy's a dumbass? Yeah? Okay. Just making sure. Wanted to make sure you didn't turn into a liberal, oh boy. So, anyway. Let's continue.
Did this lawyer get his degree from a Cracker Jack box? Like, did he just mail in a bunch of box tops and they sent him a lawyer's degree? Honest to God, I want to know where he went to law school. Because he apparently went to law school at, like, the Fisher-Price School of Law or something. Here we go.
Fisher-Price School.
Isn't it true when you would hang out with Dominic Black, you'd play Call of Duty and other first-person shooter video games?
Sometimes.
And those are games in which you use weapons like AR-15s to pretty much shoot anybody who comes at you, correct?
Not in all of them, actually, because there are bolt guns, there are semi-automatic sniper rifles, there's pump-action shotguns, there's revolvers. I mean, you have no leg to stand on, man. Over here looking like a retarded version of Doc Holliday from Tombstone, Val Kilmer style. Trying to go with a Jonas Brothers hairdo too. Bro, that hairdo looks like you're straight off High School Musical. I swear to God. Oh shit. Anyway, let's continue.
It's a video game where two players are playing together. I don't really understand the meaning of your question, to be honest.
Well, you want to know something else? It's fiction. It's not meant to be taken for real. It's not meant to be taken for real. It's meant to be fun. It's meant to, and for some people, I know me when I was younger, dude, I had some serious fucking anger issues, and the only way that I could get rid of that was through games like that. So really, they do serve a purpose. I mean, for me anyway, I'm still dealing with my anger issues, but I'm kind of trying to push it down. It's late at night. You know, I know. I'm sitting here saying, yeah, I'm trying to wind down, and I'm sitting here watching something that pisses me off. I get it, but I'm trying to stay calm. So, because this fuckface right here, he pisses me off.
Isn't one of the things people do in these video games try and kill everyone else with your guns?
Again, incorrect. Some of them, okay, especially on campaign mode, in some of these, they have things called friendlies, and they have these things called civilians. You know, like an actual war zone, because, you know, they want it to sort of resemble, you know, something real, you know. That's another thing they do. So, you, Mr. DA, are literally a dumbass. And that's putting it lightly. You are a dumbass.
Yeah, the video game, it's just a video game, it's not real life.
Did you hear what he said there? It's not real life. Exactly. But, man, those video games serve so many purposes. Like I said before, they help people with their anger issues. And I've seen a lot of people that are like ex-vets that play those games. Or they build their own shooting range and start running drills. Or they play airsoft, you know, to help deal with the shit that they've seen and done over there. Fighting for your freedom. So don't tell me that they don't serve a purpose other than to make active shooters out of small children. So, yeah. Oh, while I got this paused, I'm going to check chat. Emma, okay. Okay, I see you. I see you. You're entitled to your own opinion. That don't matter to me. So, you know, that's whatever, you know. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Me personally, I'm a gun-owning American. I honestly believe that he acted in self-defense, which is something that probably happens every day in this country. So, I mean, you know, that's whatever. But, I mean, I respectfully disagree. So, anyway, let's go.
So I love that Kyle Rittenhouse now has to explain to him that video games are not real life. Well done here, sir. Well done. And Michigan University, the University of Michigan Law School should be extraordinarily proud. By the way, Binger ran as a Democratic candidate for the position of district attorney in Racine County and was appointed Kenosha County DA about 18 months ago. Just really well done here. So the media are now reacting to this with their usual aplomb. They're attacking the judge. So when the media aren't attacking Kyle Rittenhouse for the great sin of crying on the stand, you know, while he's on trial for murder in a clear self-defense case, they're very upset about that. Stephen Crowder, I thought, made an excellent point about this. The same people who will tell you that it should be verboten in American life to call people by their biological pronouns because it might hurt their feelings are the exact same people who are laughing at Kyle Rittenhouse for crying on the stand in a murder trial where he's being wrongly accused of murder. Yeah, these people are not great people. Not great, Bob. Okay, so the media have now taken a new tack. The new tack is that the judge is real bad. That's the new tack. The judge is a bad meanie who's bad. According to the New York Times, the judge, who has clashed with prosecutors, has been in this business for 50 years. That's according to the New York Times piece. They have a long piece about this.
That's
Bruce Schrader, the longest-serving circuit judge in Wisconsin, is presiding over the homicide trial of Kyle Rittenhouse. At times during Rittenhouse's testimony on Wednesday, he took a strict line with prosecutors, clashing with them over a reference to Rittenhouse's silence in the months before the trial and an attempt to introduce testimony on a previous incident the judge had ruled inadmissible. Judge Schrader, 75, who has said he believes he has seen more homicide trials than any other judge in the state, graduated from Marquette Law School in 1970, worked as a prosecutor, and began serving as a circuit judge in 1983. His longevity is a subject of frequent conversation in the courtroom. In Kenosha legal circles, Judge Schrader has a reputation for strictness in sentencing. He's known for delivering lectures to prospective jurors about their civic duty, which in this trial he likened to serving as an American soldier in Vietnam. He frequently complains about media bias and the impact news coverage can have on prospective jurors. As Judge Schrader quizzed prospective jurors, he said he's read news articles on the Rittenhouse case, has asked himself whether he was in the same courtroom that was described in the articles. He has also acknowledged that some of the topics raised in pretrial hearings are new to him. Until this case, Judge Schrader said in a hearing he'd never heard of the Proud Boys. The first time I saw it, or a version of it, was Chef Boyardee on a can of spaghetti because of the OK hand signal is what he's talking about. In one of the judge's highest profile cases, the 2008 murder trial of Mark Jensen, who was accused of poisoning his wife with antifreeze and smothering her, a conviction was overturned when appellate courts and the state Supreme Court ruled that Schrader had improperly allowed evidence in the trial. The judge allowed the prosecution to present a letter that Julie Jensen had written and given to a neighbor, as well as a voicemail message she left for a police officer suggesting if anything happened to her, her husband would be responsible. So in other words, the only case that they can find on this judge that was overturned is because he was too favorable to the prosecution. But apparently this means he's very bad. The judge is very... So the New York Times is going after the judge. You got the Washington Post saying, as Kyle Rittenhouse trial nears end, judges' decisions from the bench come under scrutiny. Regardless of how he is viewed, Judge Bruce Schrader is indisputably a man with fixed rules for how trials in his Kenosha County courtroom will be run. Some are basic, some unorthodox. All reflect the experience of a jurist who believes trials can be too easily manipulated, particularly by the prosecution. For a jury trial, if you get him, you're happy as a defense attorney, said Michael Cicchini, a criminal defense lawyer in Kenosha, Wisconsin. He's appeared before Schrader numerous times, including earlier this year. In that case, he won an acquittal for his client, who was charged with battery. Schrader's reputation has some in Kenosha worried. The 75-year-old judge is running the trial of Kyle Rittenhouse. The defense has already logged some wins in Schrader's courtroom. Gage Grosskreutz, the man who survived Rittenhouse's gunfire, took the witness stand for the prosecution, but acknowledged he was pointing his gun at Rittenhouse when the teenager fired at him.
He acknowledged that he was, in fact, pointing a weapon at Mr. Rittenhouse. That pretty much sums it up for me. That sums it up for me. And you know what? One was trying to hit him over the head with a skateboard. The other one was trying to kick him. And kick him in the head at that. So, not favorable. I'm gonna just go ahead and tell you, kicks to the head are not a good thing. I've been kicked in the head a lot of times. So, I used to do karate class. Just comes with the territory, but yeah. So, all right. While I got it paused, let's check chat. Ben Shapiro is the man. I agree, Cutter. I agree. Kyle didn't intend on killing Rosenbaum and Huber. He only intended on stopping the threat coming his way. And not to mention another thing that they teach you in the concealed carry weapons class is that if you can try to retreat. Try to retreat first. If they keep coming at you, time to go. Okay? It's go time. So, he only intended on stopping the threat coming his way. Yeah, they always say the minimal. It's called the use of force continuum. That's for police officers, but I really feel like that in some cases it does carry over to the civilian world. How else could he have defended himself without resorting to lethal force? Isn't up to me. Yeah. Well, it ain't up to me either, but I just feel sorry for the kid. Because, I mean, to know that you have went through something like this before you turned 21, probably even graduated high school. I don't know if he's graduated high school or not. But he might have. He's 18 now. But, man, this... I don't think he had any other way. And I just can't help but think, what if he didn't have that gun? So, you got 3 dead shitheads on this side. Okay? And you've got 1 alive kid that a mother did not have to bury. I'm sorry. That's honestly the way I feel. And they were there with malicious intent before they even met Kyle and the gentlemen and ladies that he was with. G. Bory Lincolns. No one talks about the fact that those savages clearly picked Kyle out of the crowd because he was the youngest, easiest target. Well, yeah, I can see that. And he shouldn't have been there. Yeah, well, a convicted pedophile shouldn't have been trying to chase him down. Yeah, for real. He was there with good intent, I think, because he had a med bag, and he was actually helping people. So he was there with good intentions, and he was there to provide medical attention for people that needed it. So I really think that he's okay. I thought he shot 2 and injured 1. No, Joseph Rosenbaum, the first guy he shot him like 5 times. And the second guy, I think it was the guy that tried to grab his gun. I think that was the guy that tried to pull it to him, and that's the guy he shot in the heart, and that's the guy that dropped like a fucking rock, I think. And and he shot the other dude. You might be right, John. I can't remember. But either way, I'm going with Kyle. Hey, Cutter, John, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. I was about to call her out on that. Like, why you got to be in my chat talking like that? You know, because that's kind of fucked up. I appreciate y'all. John, I now that I think about it, you may be right, because I know he killed Rosenbaum because he shot him like 4 times, and the other guy, he shot him straight in the heart, and yeah, you're right, John. You're right. I'm sorry. And Gage, the one that admitted that he blowed his arm to fucking shit, which, hey, it ended the threat. I'm good with it. So, in an incriminating clip, Gross Groots aimed the gun at Kyle first before he reacted. Gross Groots approached him and pulled a handgun and pointed it at him again. And Kyle reacted and fired at him, injuring him. Yeah, blowing his arm literally off, pretty much. You gotta think, man. AR-15 round. I mean, it ain't huge, but it's a pretty effective motherfucker. Okay? Point blank, you get caught in the bicep, dude. Ooh, God. You're not gonna be able to move your arm like this at all. It's just gonna be pretty much. That's what you're gonna do. So. So, yeah.
And as the prosecution rested its case, Schrader dismissed the charge for his alleged failure to comply with curfew. The judge said he agreed with defense attorneys the prosecution had not entered sufficient evidence to prove a curfew was even in effect. And then he got sharp with the prosecutor. It seems like he's aiming to let this man out of his courtroom scot-free. We're not going to let that happen, said Justin Blake, whose nephew Jacob Blake was shot by the police last year, triggering nights of unrest. By the way, if he's friendly to the defense, I'm finding it kind of hysterical that the same people who are all in on defending career criminals are like, yeah, but we can't have a judge who's pro-defense. That'd be scary. So in other words,
so help us God if we have a judge that's pro-truth and pro-America. No, we can't have that. Can't have that. No. Y'all know how America works now. Can't have that. Don't want it. They don't want it. I want it, but hey. Some of y'all, man. Some of y'all.
It's exactly the kind of judge you would be looking for if Jacob Blake was on trial and you were an ally of Jacob Blake. You don't want for Rittenhouse. I've noticed a slight difference in how you're treating prospective criminal cases. I
think there's a word for this. It's called a fucking hypocrite.
I've just noticed. So basically, he's too liberal. He's too liberal is the rap against him. So now that's bad, according to the Washington Post. He's too liberal with defendants. I'm again getting the impression that the media are mostly interested in a verdict that they like. According to the Washington Post, while generally respected, Schrader is not universally loved and has been accused of overstepping his authority. He once ordered a woman convicted of shoplifting to inform an employee of any retail store she entered she was under supervision for her theft. In another case from the 1980s, Schrader ordered
Okay,
a babysitter accused of molesting a child.
I think this is just an overlook of what the judge is doing. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next video. So, now this one here is going to get me, riled up. I can already tell. But while we're between videos, John, what do you mean by he shot? You can't beat a good 5.56 round, LOL. Yeah. I've heard that that as far as energy, it at some distances it matches a 44 Magnum. It's a good coyote round? Yep. That's very true. Not to mention, okay, if you got to get a quick follow-up shot on one of them things, bro, you can just boom, boom, done. Killed coyotes with it before, and it I've hit them in the head, I've hit them in the side, I've hit them. We had one out chasing my cows one time, and we caught him out in the field, and I had my AR, and I hit him right here in the jaw, and went through, broke this side of the jaw. It was down here, and I don't remember what bullet I was using, but somehow it bounced up and went out his eyeball. It was gnarly. I walked up to that and I was like, holy shit! And another thing, to the people that say that the AR is a very powerful round, it's a souped up 22. Like a 22 long rifle? It's the same diameter, pretty much. It's a souped up 22. It's a very souped up 22. And it's the same thing. You want to talk about something that's a little bit more powerful than that? Why don't you talk about a 22-250? Now that round is a bad motherfucker. Oh my god. 22-250 is wicked. Ungodly wicked. Iron Wing. Rosenbaum lit a Rosenbaum lit a dumpster fire. Kyle doused out that fire. Rosenbaum caught Kyle dousing out a fire that he started and decided to charge at Kyle with intent on assaulting him. Yeah, man, they were already there to do bad shit. Okay, they had bad intentions. They didn't just have bad intentions because this kid Kyle Rittenhouse is coming up here to show up. They were going to do that anyway. And and another thing I've been thinking about is this is going to sound a lot worse than it is, but what if it hadn't have been Kyle? What if it would have been some old lady or Cutter? 17 HMRs of crazy little round 2. Oh my god. Facts. That little fucker will hurt. I guarantee it. Dude. 17 HMR is crazy. But back on topic. What if it would have been a little old lady or a little old man that was defenseless? What if it would have been, I don't know why they would be there, but a pregnant woman? What if it would have been just a regular woman that was defenseless? Or the 17 WSM is even crazier. I've never had an experience with a 17 WSM. I've had very good results out of a 17 HMR. Cutter, do you know what red wings are? Red winged blackbirds? If you do, I'll tell you a story about a 17. I was laying out in my field one day, just fooling around, and just like shooting limbs off of trees, like little twigs and stuff like that. Mine's tuned in good. But there was a redwing up in a tree, right? And I had my rangefinder on him, and I ranged him out. That mug was like a good 150 yards away. Bro, I poofed his ass. And it was hilarious. It was hilarious because the limb that he was sitting on, like if he's sitting straight up like this, he just goes and then falls down to the ground. It was hilarious. And Cutter, we have a bunch of them. Okay, look, dude. If you run a farm, okay, or you run like any kind of livestock or something like that, not a good thing. And if you're a farmer, again, not a good thing. They will tear up a corn patch. I'm telling you, dude, they will tear up a corn patch. So if you can, might want to sneak out there with a shotgun and start popping their ass, But once they start getting used to your patterns, you can't get close enough with a shotgun. That's where I-17 is a rocker, son. So, anyway, gotta get back on topic. So, we'll shrink this back down.
Closing arguments happened yesterday. This is preceded by the judge in the case dropping the gun charge against Kyle Rittenhouse. According to ABC News, Rittenhouse was 17 when he shot 3 people, killing 2 with a semi-automatic rifle on the streets of Kenosha, Wisconsin,
okay, John.
During a protest against police brutality.
Okay, John, so you were right. He killed 2 and shot 3. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why I said that. I apologize. But, yeah, you were right, John.
Last year, I love how they characterized that.
Thanks
Not
for
a bunch of
calling me
people
out
running
on
around rioting. It was just a protest against police brutality. Prosecutors brought multiple charges against him, including first-degree intentional homicide, attempted homicide, reckless endangerment, and the firearm possession count. With legal experts saying prosecutors struggled to counter the Illinois man's claims of self-defense, the best bet for a conviction looked like the gun charge. But Rittenhouse defense team dug up an exception to the prohibition. Judge Bruce Schrader dismissed the count Monday, just hours before the jurors got the case. Under Wisconsin law, anyone under 18 who possesses a dangerous weapon is guilty of a misdemeanor punishable by up to 9 months behind bars. On its face, convicting Rittenhouse on that count looked like a legal slam dunk because he was 17 years old and obviously had the rifle strapped to his chest before the shooting. But
okay, I want to comment on that. I'm going to open the chat back up here. I have an FX Impact for that. Bro, them things is high dollar. I've heard of them. I've heard the FX Impact is pretty high dollar. It's crazy. It's a PCP. That's the one you air up with an air compressor. It's an air gun 25 cal. Yeah. I can take them out at 170 yards with it. LOL. Yeah, I bet. I bet. I ain't shot one, but them things is wicked. But, yeah, so. But, man, I forgot what I was going to say. Lost my train of thought. Damn it.
Attorneys seized on a subsection of Wisconsin law that states the ban on minors possessing dangerous weapons apply.
Okay, I remember what I wanted to comment on now. We don't have that problem here where I'm at, because I live in a small town and most people don't really care if you carry a gun because everybody carries a gun. Been pulled over with my shotgun, so I mean, cops never gave me shit over it, except for one. I had a THP officer come up to me, and I could just tell when he rolled the window down he was going to say something stupid. And I was walking alongside the road, and I had my shotgun on one hand, and I had a turkey on the other. And I was walking back to the house, and sure enough, I was right. He rolls up, stops in the middle of the road, flips his blue lights on, rolls the window down, looks at me dead ass in the eyes and just goes, "Why you got that gun?" I didn't even know how to respond to that. I just went like this. I was like, just had the turkey in this hand. I was like, and I might have got a little bit smart ass. I was like, did you really just ask me that question? And he goes, yeah. He said, I want to know why you got that firearm. I said, I've got a turkey in my hand. What did you think I was going to do? Stick it up my ass and ride it home? And I about got a ticket wrote to me that day, but I can't stand stupid people. So, but that's my cop story for today.
Applies to minors armed with rifles or shotguns only if those weapons are short-barreled. That language stems from a bill then Republican Governor Tommy Thompson signed in 1991. Lawmakers were trying to find ways to curb gang violence around that time. The goal was to prevent youths from carrying sawed-off shotguns. The AR-15 was not short-barreled. They asked Schrader to dismiss the possession count on those grounds at a pretrial hearing in October. The judge refused to toss the charge at that point. And then he did toss the charge because, again, the law is pretty specific. I mean, the law says that you're not allowed to carry a short-barreled shotgun or a short-barreled rifle.
Like it is in all of America. If y'all don't know. An SBS, or a short-barreled shotgun, sawed-off shotgun, whatever you want to call it, or an SBR, okay? For a shotgun, I think it's 18 inches is the minimum length you can have for a shotgun and it be legal. Or, I think it's 16 inches total barrel length on the rifle. But and even if you do have those things, you can contact the ATF and be like, yo, I have this, I manufactured it. I don't know if you can do that without your FFL, but you just pay a $200 tax stamp, they send you back the paperwork, and you just put it in the safe with it, and you're good. But yeah, that makes sense, actually, for a little bit. It don't make a whole lot of sense, but it makes a little bit of sense.
But it does not include these. I mean, if you draw the law that way, that is what the law is. So that charge was ruled out by the judge immediately. So basically, you are now down to the reckless endangerment charge. Reckless endangerment would be essentially shooting a gun in a crowded place knowing that it might hit somebody. But that is going to be obviated by self-defense in this particular case, legally.
And a responsible gun owner isn't going to do that, just FYI.
Speaking. So the prosecution has nothing. And they really demonstrated that they had nothing yesterday. It was a bad closing argument for the prosecution. So the prosecutor, the chief prosecutor here is a guy named Thomas Binger. Binger made a mockery of himself throughout this trial. I mean, so much so that earlier in the trial, the judge reamed Binger for being bad at his job. Binger literally, he almost attempted to get a mistrial declared through his own activity. And he realized things were going so badly that it's almost hard to read this as anything except for him attempting to get a mistrial. He suggested in open court that Rittenhouse not talking to the cops was an admission of guilt, which has not been the case pretty much ever in common law, and certainly has not been the case in American case law for something like 40 or 50 years. Here was the judge reaming Binger earlier in the trial.
Okay, I'm going to skip this. I've seen this already.
He just made a mockery of himself. It was truly a terrible closing argument. He began by saying something just patently false, okay, which is if you bring a gun to a situation and then somebody attacks you and you shoot them, this means that you do not have the defense of self-defense available to you. That's not true in any way, shape, or form. If I bring a gun to an area where I'm legally allowed to bring a gun, even if I bring a gun to an area where I'm not legally allowed to bring a gun, you might get me on a gun charge, but if somebody attacks me with a knife, that is still self-defense. If somebody attacks me with a knife and I shoot them, that is still self-defense, depending on if I am in legitimate and reasonable fear for my life. Here is Binger just completely botching the law. Again, did he send like Cracker Jack box tops into the bar association to get a law degree? I don't understand how this guy is even practicing.
And one of the things to keep in mind is that when the defendant provokes the incident, he loses the right to self-defense.
But he didn't provoke it, though. He didn't provoke it, though. That's the issue.
You cannot claims self-defense against a danger you create. That's critical right here. The defendant decided to pull the trigger on his AR-15 4 times. That was his decision. And he is responsible for every bullet that comes out of that gun.
So, it is true that if you provoke a confrontation, you cannot then use self-defense. That part is true. But he literally said, this is a direct quote, "You lose the right to self-defense when you're the one who brought the gun." Nope. False.
Okay, so what you're telling me is that if I've got my concealed carry license, well, in this case, let's say I'm 18, I don't have my concealed carry license, and I've got, let's say, a 2-inch 357 on me, and somebody comes up behind me with a switchblade and sticks it in my back, that I can't turn around and blow that motherfucker to pieces because, oh, I brought the gun, I was going armed and dangerous. No, that's why you carry a gun, dumb fuck. That's why you carry a gun. Duh. But while I got this paused, let's check chat. Damn. I missed a lot. Do you think that Kyle Rittenhouse is suspicious and potentially the imposter? Not quite sure what you're referring to. I'm not sure what you're referring to. I think he's innocent, if that's what you're saying. Cutter, I'll send you a picture of it. Alright, I got you, bro. The fake broom. Man, Kyle really busted so hard on those men. Understand that I'm not taking sides here. I'm not saying Kyle's a hero or a criminal. I'm just restating and clarifying the evidence as seen in the trials. Yes, Iron Wing, I respect you for that, because I mean, these kind of things you can't really go either way. So you have to have a very neutral view on this, and especially in law, you really need to have a neutral view, because of the fact that you should want the truth to come out and not your preferred outcome. Because at that point you're biased and you're wanting to get an extra paycheck, in my mind. So Cutter, I'm sorry, I'm gonna shut up now. Oh, you're good, bro. Do you think that Kyle says bussin' on them anti-glizzy mofos? I'm not sure. I don't know. Joe seems kind of like the throat goat. Again, not sure what you're referring to. So, John Andrews, I was using a shotgun for fishing. Here's your sign. For real. For real. Some of these people I want them to go to their bedroom and use their shotgun for a tablespoon. But, I mean, hey. I don't get to make that decision, you know? So, again, joke, guys. I don't know why I feel like I have to say that, because y'all are probably still pretty cool, but just for anybody that is future employers of mine, that was a joke, so chill out. But Cutter, for real. So, anyway, let's go.
Actively false. So the prosecution's case relies on the idea that Rittenhouse started a fight essentially with Joseph Rosenbaum, and that everything that thereupon followed was Rittenhouse's fault. But there's no evidence that that's the case. Okay, and so instead, you see the prosecutor making Binger was bizarre. Here he was defending Joseph Rosenbaum. Joseph Rosenbaum spent the evening being totally insane. Spent the evening burning things, threatening people with chains, literally saying, according to witness testimony, that he would kill Rittenhouse if he found him alone. And Binger just decides that the only way to prosecute Rittenhouse is to pretend that Joseph Rosenbaum was actually like a wonderful dude. So here he is, clip 14, explaining that Joseph Rosenbaum really didn't do anything that night. He just, it's just
not that it's relevant to this, because you can't go off of someone's criminal history, and it isn't a defining factor in the sentence that they get. But he was a sex offender, okay? I think he had... this is old information, guys. I can't really pull it up, but I'm pretty sure he had a couple different assault charges, one of which was a sexual assault. That's why he's now a sex offender. Or was, I should say. But I think he had a couple theft charges and a couple drug charges too, so he had a rap sheet. So, I mean, in my opinion, he was kind of a piece of shit, but, it's whatever, though. Do I think he should have been taken out of this world? Yes. Yes. Do I think the world is now a better place without him? Yes, I do. And that's just for the simple fact of, I know you're not supposed to speak ill of the dead, but people like that, bro, you just can't help. They made their own decisions, and they made the wrong decision, and that's what happened. So, not justifying that in any way, because that's just wrong. But, yeah.
Non-threatening, kind of silly, idiot little guy who really, there was nothing to fear from Joseph Rosenbaum while he was, threatening people with chains and burning cars and such.
Yeah, just threatening people.
He just happens to stumble into it. So what does he do that night? Oh, let me tell you all the awful things Joseph Rosenbaum did. He tipped over a porta potty that had no one in it. He swung a chain. He lit a metal garbage dumpster on fire.
You can tell this dude is liberal as fuck. You can tell this dude's liberal as fuck, because he's speaking of this shit like it's okay. He's speaking of this stuff like it's, oh yeah, this is normal everyday activity. No. I'm gonna check chat again while I got this paused. But they don't have guns. Yeah. This is just gonna go back down. I might as well just collapse it.
Oh, and there's this empty wooden flatbed trailer that they pulled out in the middle of the road, and they tipped it over to stop some bearcats, and they lit it on fire. Oh, and he said some bad words. He said the N-word.
What the hell is wrong with this guy? Really, I don't know what's wrong with him. And by the way,
right?
All of the offenses that he mentions before the N-word offense, which, by the way, according to the media, is the gravest offense in American public life. If you use the N-word, we bar you from public society. We basically brand you.
You say the N-word, death sentence. And I'm going to just be completely honest with everybody. Most people use that word. Black people know that we use it. Especially in the comfort of our own dwelling. But if you say it with malicious intent, hey, don't do that. But if you're just like, hey, what's up, or you're like telling a joke or something like that, I'm not gonna say it. But that's just, I'm not gonna get on this topic. That's pretty much my thoughts on it. If you're doing it with ill intent, that's not right. But if you're like telling a joke or just saying, hey, what's up, that's cool. I don't really care.
And say that you are no longer allowed to participate in public society in America. He's like, well, he said the N-word, but also, all the other stuff that you're saying is criminal. Okay, it's actual criminal activity. It's like, so he was rioting, so he was burning things, so he was setting up barricades to prevent the cops from getting in. So he's, I mean, was that big a deal? Like, he seems like a nice guy. Was he just maybe he's like a bad night? How many times have you just been walking down the street and you set a metal dumpster on fire, tipped over a porta potty, started waving around chains, shouting the N-word, and tried to block the cops from coming?
Oh my god, my girlfriend left me because I'm a pussy, and I'm just gonna go out in the street and I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna stomp my feet and I'm gonna cry because my pussy hurts. And I'm gonna turn over a bunch of porta potties, and I'm gonna turn over a trailer, set it on fire, and roll a dumpster down the road, and make it a flamey boy. Yeah. God. Some people.
Happens all the time. Happens all the time. That's the prosecutor. You remember, prosecutors are supposed to be angry at people for violating the law. That's kind of their job. It's like, well, his violations of law are no big deal. And then he goes even further. He suggests that this is a mob of heroes. Now, you watched the tape. Did that look like a mob of heroes to you? The people chasing Kyle Rittenhouse? Did that look like a group of people out for justice that evening? Or did that look like a bunch of people who are out to make trouble and burn things and create violence and havoc? And did it look like they were chasing down Kyle Rittenhouse to beat the living hell out of him?
Yes, it
Like
did.
before the shooting. Remember, he's being chased by Rosenbaum and other people before he shoots anyone.
He was being
Literally for
chased
not
by a
doing
good
anything.
7 or 8 people. if
So
not
here's the prosecutor trying to make the case that this was a group of heroes. Who are you going to believe? The narrative of your own eyes?
We've had several police officers testify that in an active shooter situation, their first instinct, their first training is to go in and stop the threat. They don't sit there and wonder, well, maybe it was self-defense. I don't know. I'm going to, wait and see. And every day we read about heroes that stop acting.
If he had been an active shooter, he would not have discriminated between people that was on this side and people that was on this side. He would have just chambered that bitch, got a bunch of different mags, and just started spraying. And just bam, 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 bam. That's an active shooter. He didn't do it with malicious intent. He defended his damn self.
Active shooters. That's what was going on here. And that crowd was right. And that crowd was full of heroes.
That crowd was full of heroes? The actual F? What in the world? It gets worse from here, by the way. Binger decided it would be a great idea to point a gun at, like, the entire room. So,
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Oh. This pisses me off. I know there is no magazine in this gun, but do you see where his fucking booger hook is? That is not a good practice to get into, bro. The trigger is not a finger rest. It actually makes the gun shoot. This is so cringy. This is so cringy. Alright, let's continue.
number one, he is violating pretty much every standard of gun safety right now.
Yes.
Like, there are pictures of written...
You do not point you treat every gun like it is loaded. Okay? Every gun. Doesn't matter if it's cleared and been cleared multiple times. You don't do that. No. That's rule number one. And number two, you do not, even as a joke, you do not point a gun at somebody. You don't do that. That's just... Oh God. Oh. This is what makes gun owners look bad, is people like this.
around in the middle of the riots and obeying the basic rules of gun safety, like don't have your finger inside the trigger guard. Here is Binger with it. I mean, it's like Alec Baldwin over here. He's pointing an actual AR-15 style weapon at the jury because guns are scary, guys. And if Kyle Rittenhouse had a gun and guns are scary, that means he's guilty in some way. And he's got his finger inside the trigger guard. Like, but what? I'm sorry, this guy's a mockery. He's a and then his deputy shows up. His deputy prosecutor's a guy named James Krause. And honest to God, if this guy Binger got his law degree from the University of Cracker Jack boxes, then James Krause, the ADA, apparently got his degree from like a Special K mail-in game. Because, my God, he then makes the case that Rittenhouse should have fought these people with his fists. He says that if somebody attacks you with their fists, they're obviously not going to do anything deadly to you, so you're a coward if you shoot them.
Attacks you with their fist. Have you seen what knuckle dusters do? Have you seen what a knuckle duster will do? Here, I'll show y'all. Hold on, let me see if I can find a picture of what I know a kid that got attacked with these once. Hold on. Let me see if I can get it. Does that look okay to you? Does that look okay to you? Oh yeah, he attacked him with his fists. I mean, you know, that's no big deal. Again, bare fist would be different than this, but this is just ungodly. You want to see another one? Okay, let's scroll on down here. Oh, here's a good one. What about that? Oh yeah, he just attacked him with his fist. He's alright. What about this one? What about this one? I mean, you know, that's... Get out of here. There's another one I was wanting to go over. See if I can find it. I seen it down here a minute ago. Right here it is. Yeah, bare fist. It's all good. It's all good. No. Again, bare fist would be different than brass knuckles, but yeah. That's that.
If they're trying to beat the hell out of you with a skateboard, you have to take the beating.
Clearly, if there is provocation, he's guilty. But even outside...
This man's birth certificate is an apology letter. You do not put your finger on the trigger, number one. Yes. Yes. I can't remember what different ranks they are, but they're all pretty much the same in my book. As far as they're all on the same level. You don't do any of them. So that's yeah. Again, Cutter, thanks for taking care of that for me. But yeah.
Of provocation. Why do you get to immediately just start shooting? As Mr. Binger said, he brought a gun to a fist fight. And he was too cowardly to use his own fist to fight his way out.
Okay, so a few things. I noticed that he brought a gun to a gunfight, considering that Gage Grosskreutz was showing up with a gun. Also, he brought a gun to a skateboard fight, a gun to a rock fight. Would you like me to continue? The gun to a being smashed in the face with a skateboard fight. Also, he brought a gun to a somebody grabbing for his gun fight. I have a question. Since when in American law is the rule that if somebody threatens your life with not a gun, you are not allowed to use a gun to protect your own life? When is that the rule in American law, ever? This is a real bad day for the prosecution. The defense, by contrast, had a pretty easy day because all they had to point out is the obvious. This is a political case. So here's the defense attorney, Mark Richards, making the point that this is a political case, which it clearly was.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a political case. We can take politics out of it as in Democrat and Republican, but the district attorney's office is marching forward with this case because they need somebody to be responsible. They need somebody to quit and say, we did it. He's the person who brought terror to Kenosha. Kyle Rittenhouse is not that individual. The rioters, the demonstrators who turned into rioters, those are the individuals who bring us forth.
Okay, that is correct. Okay, and then Richard says, very controversially, that he's glad he shot Joseph Rosenbaum. Well, I mean, I don't know about being glad that anybody got shot, but if somebody's grabbing for a gun and they get shot, that is the predictable result of grabbing for somebody's gun.
Kyle shot Joseph Rosenbaum to stop a threat to his person. And I'm glad he shot him, because if Joseph Rosenbaum had got that gun, I don't for a minute believe he wouldn't have used it against somebody else. He was irrational and crazy.
And not just that, Richards then says that it's impossible. Binger had said it was impossible for Rosenbaum to have threatened Rittenhouse. That's, of course, untrue, and Richards points that out.
We showed the video to start this, clearly depicting Mr. Rosenbaum standing there at Car Source 2 shortly after the dumpster, standing there with his chain, the shirt tied up over his head. But Mr. Binger says it's impossible for him to have threatened my client. That's garbage, just like his case.
There's a little personal jab there. It's garbage, just like his case, yeah. Like his brain, too. I'm almost certain that when this guy was made, somebody just like cut the top of his head off and like laid it over to the side. And it was just like, give me a brain. Oh, we're out of brains? Hand me that trash can right over there. Yeah. Yeah, it's got dirty snot rags and backer spit and everything else in it. But yeah, give it to me. Yeah, there we go. That's how that worked.
Yep. And then Richards concludes by saying that Binger apparently lives in fairy tale land because he's just making up stories.
This active shooter BS is something that Mr. Binger is trying to sell you people. Has he shot anybody since Car Source 3? No,
Better,
he hasn't.
be good, bro.
He's running to try and get to the police. Mr. Binger must live in fairy tale land.
Hope you get to feeling better,
that Kyle
Kyle.
could stop, put his gun down, and say, hey, everything's good, leave me alone, I'm going to the police. Unfortunately, that's not how the real world works.
Alrighty, so in just 1 second, we'll get to the media's final take on this particular situation, because at a certain point, you have to imagine that they want the riots. Mischaracterizing the case as poorly as they have done throughout this case demonstrates they want something out of this, and apparently what they want is more violence and more unrest, because the narrative, uber alles, the only thing that matters is the narrative. I hope you enjoyed that clip from The Ben Shapiro Show. If you did, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you stay up to date with all our future content.
Alright. Okay. Last video of the night, guys. Last video of the night. After this one, we're going to get out of here. We're going to have a little short thing where I give my opinions on this whole case, but after that, we're going to get out of here. I'm hoping to be out of here by 2 o'clock, so if y'all want to go ahead and head out, that's cool. Sorry, I'm checking my phone here. Cutter texted me. But, anyway, let's go.
I don't know, the process.
I've already seen part of this, guys.
Before we get into today's video, we got a message from our sponsor. Yeah. Oh, you recommend MyPatriotSupply.com. They're the America's largest preparedness company, and they carry the survival products you need if we have a major breakdown in our society. Yeah. Food, gear, gadgets, They have it all. And it's affordably priced too and ships quickly. So go to mypatriotsupply.com today and make sure your family is prepared and safe. Patriotsupply.com today. Tell them the twins sent you. Yeah. All right, Joy, what's this woman name? Joy Reid? Joy Reid, easily the dumbest black woman in America. I mean, it's not even...
I don't know about that, boys. I don't know. Maxine Waters is up there. Maxine Waters is up there.
Close. Yeah. I mean, she makes AOC look like Socrates. I mean, this lady is stupid. She's so stupid. She probably spells stupid STOOPUDE stupid. That's probably how she spells it. Man, she probably ain't that stupid. That's brain dead. Yeah, just Joy, you is a stupid woman, though. I mean, she can't believe this stuff she's coming out. She just can't. You think she's stupid? You ought to see the producers of this show. Hey, they're twice as stupid. You think they stupid? You ought to see the people that watch her. Go vote. No ID.
I feel like he's doing a retarded Arnold Schwarzenegger.
All right, so give y'all context what we talking about. Ain't that kind of crazy how this be on TV? I mean, you would think something this stupid be like on a YouTube channel. But this is on a major network. MSNBC. Yeah, this is just pure garbage. You would expect that from just like a YouTuber. Yeah, like 14 years old. This is a grown woman on a major network talking like this. All right, so to give y'all context what we talking about, check this out.
Evening after Kyle Rittenhouse tearfully testified at his murder trial in Wisconsin, like a mini Brett Kavanaugh. Let me just remind people of the names of the victims.
Listen, bitch, I'm gonna just go ahead and tell you. If I was on that trial, the fact that he wasn't crying throughout the whole thing is surprising to me, because I would be. And I'm man enough to admit it. Because that's a lot of pressure to handle as a 17-year-old. Almost died one night, had to defend yourself, took somebody's life, not only one, but two. And then you got to go through a bunch of shit on a very offset case. And then luckily he's got a good judge and a good lawyer, I think. But I'm tired. But yeah, this really chaps my ass, guys.
Joseph Rosenbaum, who was 36 years old, Anthony Hoover, who was 26, Gage Grosskreutz, who's only 27 years old, was injured. These are the victims. These are the people that people ought to remember.
Yeah. Kyle was 17. I don't hear you saying his name.
The people
and his
who were
age.
hurt here, not the person who was crying on the stand today.
I mean, that is just
that's just wrong.
I mean, that's bizarre. They are these people are victims. Hey, let me say this. Did you know all three of those victims are like felons?
Right?
Did you know Kyle Rittenhouse is a minor? He's a child. Since when does grown men attack children with a rifle? Yeah. Let me state the obvious. What's wrong with crying? Huh? What's wrong with crying? I mean,
real man ain't afraid to show his feelings. You gotta cry every once in a while, guys. Doesn't matter. And do I think it makes you less of a man? No, I don't. No judgment from me, anyway. And, you know, there's some guys out there just like, oh, you cry, you're a pussy. You know, but those guys, they're irrelevant. Their opinion is irrelevant.
James stepped in, and it's like, oh, I guess
you
can cry
I'm
when
gonna
in
get
the
triggered
NBA
here in just a
championship,
minute.
but when your life's on the line, yeah, and you possibly facing Bubba in jail, you ain't gonna cry on. And what does Kavanaugh have to do with it?
LeBron James, if you ever see this live stream, fuck you. fuck you. I swear to God. You're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit. You have no business commenting on this. You're talking out of your fucking ass. How about you focus on dribbling a ball and let us live in the real world? Okay? You stick to your lane, I'll stick to mine. But if you do not quit sticking your fucking finger outside of what you know, dude, you're not gonna like the backlash you get, dude. Like, for real. For real. You... Before he started coming out with all this political shit, I was a pretty big fan of LeBron James. Before he started saying, oh, fuck the police and all this other shit, before I even knew about all that stuff, I was a huge fan of his. But now, fuck no. Fuck no. Just like The Rock. I still like The Rock. I still like his movies. I don't despise him for it, but I lost a hell of a lot of respect for him when he said that he said that he supported Biden and Harris. Is he still a cool guy? I'm sure. Love to hang out with him, but and he's entitled to his own opinion. I'm cool with that, but it made me see him in a very different light. So, but anyway. Oh, well, I got this paused. I ain't checked chat in a while. I'm gonna check it. Is there anything else? No, we're good.
This, like, it's wrong for Kavanaugh to cry because somebody wants to dig up something that happened like 30, 40 years ago. There's no proof, and they're smearing him. Of course, any man with a rational mind would break down and shed some tears.
Yeah, I mean, she brings up Kavanaugh because both these people are white, and she's actually a racist.
Yeah, she is.
I mean, that's why she brought it up.
It's funny that Kyle Rittenhouse is a white supremacist who shot 3 white men.
Right.
What does white supremacist even mean anymore?
Yeah,
you just got to be white and somebody don't like you?
Yeah.
Is that what
yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
So let me state this. Like, I kind of noticed during the because we've been on the road, and
yeah,
I don't know, the prosecution, I just want to bring this up.
Yeah.
You gotta be really careful what you talk about when Rittenhouse, because like these
Facebook,
social media, they
Twitter.
like take down your videos and you can't post for like a month. So you have to be really careful.
So we ain't really talking about Kyle. We just talking about how dumb Joy Reid is,
and how dumb that prosecutor is, who picked up a damn rifle and pointed at the damn jury with his finger on the trigger. I mean, you can't make this shit. This is like some shit out of Family Guy. These people are batshit crazy. Let me say this.
All right.
Let me state the obvious. The prosecutor said that he provoked people to attack him.
How the hell you provoke somebody to attack you while you're holding a rifle?
Yeah,
come on, get some of this. Come on. Come on, you want to do something? I got a rifle here. You want to do something? How did he provoke them?
Yeah, like holding a gun or a rifle, that's like a deterrent. That's like the whole point of like being a security guard. They pay more money for an armed guard because it's a deterrent.
Yeah.
How's you provoking people?
Yeah, with a gun. I mean, if somebody's got a gun, I'm going to stay away from that person. I'm not going to attack them. I'm not going to threaten them.
I'm not going to
Hey, how's it going? It's a nice rifle you got there. I'm not going to charge them or pull a gun or pull a knife or anything.
Yeah, right. Like the one guy that survived, he actually pulled a gun.
Yeah.
And the guy's running away, and y'all chasing him? I mean,
you hear people, get him!
I mean, the guy, well, how old was he at the time? 16, 17?
Something like that.
And you got grown men chasing you? I think that's kind of like a scary moment.
Yeah, it's like a scary movie. You know how every time you see a scary movie, you run away from the killer, the person always falls? Always. It happened to Cal, too. He fell down. He's running, trying to get away, falls down. I was like, damn, I've seen this before. It always happens in movies. You know what I'm saying? Like that dude, Jason Voorhees, people running.
Jason just like this.
He just walking.
He like this. dude just walking.
Yeah,
and then they fall, and then he's like right behind him. Like,
That's what happened to Kyle, man. He's running away with the rifle. He's not charging people.
I mean, I just don't get like people that brain dead that you're gonna like try to attack somebody holding a rifle. I'm like looking at the crowd, I'm like, man, what the?
Yeah, they're stupid. Don't even try to comprehend it, man. They're just stupid people.
Why are you attacking somebody holding a rifle? It's like it's okay if he had a 22, you didn't see it. Okay, you attacking somebody, he pulled it out and did that. Okay, I understand. This dude, the rifle is about as big as he is. You don't see the rifle?
Victims.
And it's a rifle. You don't mess with a rifle.
you gotta be dumb as Joy Reid to miss shooting somebody with a rifle. Only Joy Reid,
Especially
stupid as she is, she's
distance.
probably gonna miss. But you know what? They should take like philosophy classes. All the major universities, they should take video from Joey's show every day and say, "Hey, what fallacy did she use this time?" Yeah. Just to paint how stupid you are. I mean,
Turn it into a game show. Hell yeah, turn it into a game show. Try watching Zeducation. Try not to laugh videos without laughing. I'm down. I like Tyler Zed. I think he's pretty funny. And he just stays so calm throughout the whole video, which just really just makes it so much more funny to me. And he does meme reviews and stuff like that. But he one thing that I really like about him is he's just so calm. I don't think I've ever seen a video where he actually lost his mind. You know, I've never really seen him explode. That's one thing I really like about him. But is the fact that, well, it would be more entertaining if he did explode. But I'm just saying, like, I kind of gotta respect him for not getting pissed off like I do. So, but yeah, I'm down.
your reasoning is so flawed. You're comparing apples to oranges. You're comparing Nike shoes to bananas. I mean, bitch, you stupid as hell. Yeah, that's it in a nutshell. And she is a racist. Everything on her show, she finds race in everything. This is just a textbook example. I don't care how intelligent you are. I don't think Joy Reid is intelligent to begin with, but just to prove something to people, no matter how smart you are, if you have biases or you're
not being objective.
You're not being objective. You are stupid as stupid gets.
Yeah, your thinking becomes flawed. And it's like, I don't know how she could sit there with a straight face and just say some of the stuff. Like, all three of these guys, the victims were felons. One of them's like a pedophile.
Yeah.
I mean, these were like not good people, and it's like, what do you think it's a coincidence that on the night of people, these are not protests, they're like rioting, they're burning.
Yeah.
And these are the types of people that...
Yo guys, if you've got any questions for me, while I'm finishing this out, wait a couple minutes, but I mean, you can go ahead and get them rolling, and I'll look at them. So we'll see.
That he came into contact with. This was not a protest.
Yeah.
This was like a damn arson. This was people turn the city up.
Yeah.
Maybe if the cops would have got out there and did their job, nobody would be dead right now.
Yeah.
You realize that if the cops had did their job, it wouldn't have never came to this.
Yeah.
He actually ran to the cops, and then the cops all of a sudden stormed like, all right, let's clear this thing. It's like,
yeah,
I don't get it.
I mean, you people in mainstream media, MSNBC, CNN, y'all out. You're out protecting criminals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You want everybody that uses the Second Amendment self-defense, they have to be absolutely perfect. That's what these trials is going on.
Yeah.
You're telling people before you pull that trigger, you got to do exactly everything right, or you going to be considered a murderer.
They make it out like you can't really shoot some. This is what they're aiming for.
Yeah.
As far as self-defense, you got to be getting your ass beat. And right before he hit you one time and kill you, you got to be like, all right, I took enough of a beat. Bow! It doesn't have to get that far for it to be self-defense. You know
No.
what? Simple solution. Don't attack people. Don't attack people with guns. Yeah, I learned this the first day of kindergarten. Now, my mama told me about this too, but they really told you this in the first day of kindergarten. Keep your hands to yourself. We learned that in kindergarten.
Yes.
These are grown adults chasing a damn teenager.
Yeah. Keep your hands to
Just
yourself.
keep your hands to yourself.
Learn that shit in kindergarten.
Learn that shit in kindergarten. But you have this woman on TV calling them victims. Crazy world we live in. It's a crazy world. It's a damn good show. Joy, you is dumb as dumb gets, girl. Girl, you stupid. Oh, that's a dumb right there. That's what she is. I'm gonna say it like a racist redneck. You's a dumb. You stupid black. I say it like a racist one. You's a dumb black. Girl, you dumb as dumb, girl. Stupid black. Yeah, I don't know if we include that shit. That shit crazy as hell. Mike Lindell, true patriot. He needs our help. Here's a man who started from nothing, built a great company, great products. I mean, you.
Okay, if this is just going to be sponsorships, I'm going to just go ahead and get out of here. Like I said, I'll hang around for a few minutes. If y'all got any questions for me, you can go ahead and ask. I don't even know if anybody's still in here. It don't tell me. So, but, yeah. Hold on. Okay, I got you, Nate D. I'm not very knowledgeable with guns. Hey. That's cool, man. You know, I mean, hey. I can't dish you for that, you know. It is what it is. But if there's any questions y'all got for me pertaining to this, I'd be happy to answer them, so. Because Cutter's already gone. I think those other two screwheads got out of here. So, and hopefully that Emma chick got out of there too. Sorry, I'm not talking, guys. I'm just waiting around just to see if anybody's got any questions. Play some music. Fuck.
People with ADHD.
The only poison I've had is
None that I can think of.
The only man I fear is God.
Alright. Well, John, I appreciate you moderating for me. You and Cutter. So, I really do appreciate it. Turns out I did need y'all, so I appreciate it.
No neighbor can shut me up. I'm off the grid and I'm off
if it's just you all, I'm just going to go ahead and get off here.
With them holler boys, holler if you needed something done.
But if it's just you all, I'm not going to hang out here for a little bit. So I think I'm going to just go ahead and get out of here. I'm going to go upstairs and smoke me a cigarette. Nate D, I don't have any questions. I haven't kept up with it, but I think it's pretty clear cut and dry. Yeah, for real. But anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go upstairs and I'm gonna smoke me a cigarette and I'm gonna go to bed. So, all right. See y'all. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Oh, by the way, before I go, I was gonna tell y'all something. If y'all haven't already done it, all right. Be sure to add me on Instagram, okay? Be sure to add me on Instagram. It's just Demonic Whips TV. It's no caps or nothing like that. It's just Demonic Whips TV. So, if y'all want to add me, there you go. Alright. Appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all later.